I am Annie Lobert, and welcome to The Pink Chair. Today I have a very special, beautiful, anointed, gorgeous friend on the set. And she has such an amazing testimony and story about her life and where she is now. Her name is Allie. Allie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Well, I should say Allison. That's what you like to be called
or.
anyway. I call you Allie, but
Yeah.
Allison, how
Yes,
are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
I'm so happy you're here today.
I'm so happy to be here.
Finally, we got you here, and I met you for the first time, and not to shock anybody, but I met you in a class called Ladies of Destiny. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you would come, and it was actually in CCDC, which people might not know what that is, Clark County Detention Center. I'll say it again, Clark County Detention Center. And I was doing a class, and you were just in the audience smiling and sweet. And then I said, hey, does anyone want to sign up for the Destiny House? And when you get out of here, if you're on probation or if you need somewhere to go. And so you signed up, and the rest is history.
Yes, ma'am.
And the judge mandated you, and you've been having a good time with us ever since.
Yeah.
And I found out more about your story when you came into the house, like a deeper realm of your story. And it was just, wow, I couldn't believe. So I wanted to ask you, just first of all, how long have you been in Las Vegas?
I've been here since 2000.
Okay.
I moved here in 2000.
And why did you move here?
My dad is a nuclear engineer.
Whoa.
So his job moved from state to state, so we came here.
And why wouldn't you be working as a nuclear engineer in Las Vegas? Because we have a lot of cool stuff here, Area 51, and there's other things like that.
Yeah.
We've had test sites, and I don't know exactly what he does, but that's a very interesting job. So
It is.
you grew up here, and you were going to school, and just so maybe do you think it was a normal childhood, or was it kind of up and down, or what did you feel like?
Well, I was adopted when I was a baby.
Okay.
And so probably I was a lot more spoiled than normal because I was adopted.
Not you.
And right. And I was an only child, so and my dad was a nuclear engineer, my mom was a substitute teacher, so for the three people, my dad made a pretty good amount of money, so I was spoiled rotten. And I got everything I ever wanted, and got to go to Disney World and SeaWorld and Dollywood.
My favorite place.
And it was so awesome. I did all of the kid things. And so yeah, it was a pretty, I guess, normal childhood, like something you would think in a single child.
But then one day, you and a friend of yours, and how old were you at this time when you met this guy?
I was 15.
You were 15 years old.
Yeah.
And this man came into your life, and what was that? What was he doing?
So me and a couple of friends were in an apartment complex. I can't remember exactly, but I think one of them lived in this apartment complex. So we were just outside hanging out, doing regular teenager stuff, trying to, pretend like we were grown-ups,
Yeah.
We
Flirt
could
with
just
guys,
do
waving
whatever.
guys in cars.
Worried about, what we looked like and all this stuff. And this guy comes up, and all of us had experienced smoking weed and drinking alcohol before. So I can't remember if we had smoked weed and maybe he smelled it on us. I'm not sure exactly. But he came up, he lived in the apartments, and he came up, I think it was with one of his friends, and he was like, hey, what are you guys doing? Do you want to come hang out in my apartment? We can smoke weed and drink some alcohol or whatever. And we were like, okay, we can do whatever we want because we're grown,
That's right, you're 15.
So, of course, yeah. So, oh my gosh. So we go inside, and we're smoking weed, and he's pouring Jose Cuervo down our throats it was nothing, and he was like, oh yeah, how old are you girls? I'm 19, and
wow.
Then he started guilt tripping us, and he lied to us. We didn't know he was lying. We were way too young to know that, but he said he had cancer and he only had so long to live, and that right there makes you feel bad for somebody, you know, so he knew exactly what he was doing. but we didn't know he knew what he was doing. We had no clue. And, you know, one thing led to another, and we were like, oh, well, we can like hang out with this guy and he'll smoke weed with us and, you know, get alcohol for us, because we weren't old enough to buy alcohol. We weren't old enough to do anything, you know. And I was getting some weird vibes from him. In all actuality, it was honestly probably because I didn't think he was attractive. He just wasn't my type, so he was more like irritating and annoying to me when he would try to flirt with me. It was just, you know, and he wouldn't leave me alone, like certain things that he would say, and he tried to like go to my house, my parents' house, meet my parents, and, you know, talk to my mom and get in good with my mom, and said that he worked for somebody who did commercials or something like that. And it was supposed to be like some big Levi commercial, and that he could take me to it. And I was like,
wow, Levi commercial. Who would want to do that? Levi's.
Yeah, hello.
I have a bunch of Levi's.
Commercial.
Right. It's the oldest jeans in our country.
Like,
the
what
first
teenager
jeans.
would not want to go do that?
Of course. So
you
wanted
know?
to he wanted to offer a model, maybe a model internship
Yeah,
to you?
exactly. Yeah.
And you were like, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, so right before that, I was actually in the thing that John Robert Powers. I was in that for a few months. So
is that a modeling agency?
It is.
Okay.
I don't know if it still exists or not, but so I was in that. So I was like, oh, modeling, you know. But then I was like, he's kind of irritating, and I already had a boyfriend at the time, so he wasn't cute enough, you know what I mean?
Totally. I had guys like that in high school that had crushes on me, or just were trying to, I could tell they were trying to get me in bed. And I was like, ew.
Yeah.
But yet I was fascinated by their attraction towards me. I was like drawn toward. It's the weirdest thing.
It's
because
really
especially, you said you were adopted. So even a girl that's adopted, or even a girl that, you know, might seem to have a great family life, there might be a hole in your heart.
Yeah.
That you're just like drawn to certain people that are giving you attention that you've never experienced before.
And you don't even know that it's there. You have no idea.
You're so
until it's
naive. You're
brought
like,
to your attention. Yeah.
So I want to go back to what happens between you two after this break. You guys, you cannot miss this, because Alison's about to share the shocking truth about the supposed modeling agency. When we come back to the pink chair. Alison, I wanted to ask you, what was the difference in your recovery now, and what has changed because you've came to the Destiny House that was never there before in your life?
Oh, I've been through multiple rehabs and prison and jail, and the one thing that's different this time is my relationship with God and Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
That is so amazing, because this is what I find within myself. This is what changed me. And 16 years of me going out of control. You and so many other girls I've met, every time that Jesus is brought into the picture of healing and of the trauma, everything changes.
It does.
And with God, all things are possible. Destiny House is a place where ladies can come again and dream new dreams, get rid of their nightmares, discover who they are in Jesus, develop into righteous women to go out into the world, into the destiny that God originally called them, which is a destiny of favor, prosperity, and blessings. They were never designed to be sold. They were never designed to be thieves. They were never designed to be con artists or sex trafficked, which, by the way, 95% of women that are abused, 95% in the sex industry, in trafficking, were sexually abused as children or molested. We cannot forget those stats, that these ladies, we need to embrace them, and we need to be part of the solution. Destiny House is this solution. Been doing this for almost 15 years, and can I tell you the miracles that I have seen happen in our program and with our outreach. You guys, if you want to partner with us, we need partners. We need monthly partners. Go to hookersforjesus.net. Welcome back to Pink Chair, and today I have Alison in the studio sharing her story of transformation. Some of you might not realize this or know this, but trafficking comes in all forms. It's not just sex trafficking per se. It could be a job, like Alison was being offered, that was going to go into something deeper and more insidious and more nefarious, into pedophilia trafficking. So Alison, I kind of told the story a little bit, but what happened? Because I'll never forget when you said, well, I don't know if I was trafficked. And then I showed you that power and control wheel, and I was like, wait a second. This guy, you told me, he bought you a leather jacket, or gave you an expensive leather jacket, and took you out in the desert. Tell the rest of the story.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So from a little bit before, we were like hanging out with him. We knew that we could drink alcohol and smoke weed, and of course we think we're grown-ups, you know, so that's what we want to do. So if somebody's going to let us do that who says that he's 19, why would we not? I mean, that's not 20, you know, like he literally gave the perfect age. 19.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's not too old, you know, for a 15-year-old.
He's still a teenager.
At least, exactly. So
we're teenagers.
My brain is okay with it, you know. So we, oh man, I can't remember it exactly the way that it happened, like the sequence of how it happened, the timeline, but I remember us being in his apartment and him showing us his computer screen. It had a picture of like all of these girls in like rows, like pictures of their faces. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Like they were choices.
But how he explained it was, these are, you know, all the girls that do modeling pictures for me and they make a lot of money and all of this stuff. And he was trying to like glorify it. And I was just like, I don't know, it looks like too many girls to, it was never something that I was into, thank God, because, I mean, I could have easily fallen into that trap, but I was more like, something just wasn't right with it, you know, for me.
And you weren't attracted to him.
I was not attracted to him. If I was, it would have been a completely different story.
So he maybe he thought he was attractive and he could like trick you into something.
He probably thought he was, yeah.
I feel like God might have protected you from that attraction.
Oh, yes.
So that you wouldn't fall deeper. So then what was the next step? You guys did a photo shoot?
Yes, he came and picked me up from my parents' house, and I can't remember what he said, like why we were going to be going somewhere, but he was like, yeah, let's just go, you know, brought some lady with him, and we went up to Red Rock. Oh, I think it was for the pictures for like the Levi commercials and stuff like that he said that he had something to do with, you know, and it ended up not having anything to do with jeans or clothes for that matter. And the lady was like just trying to make me feel comfortable and coercing me into like, oh, it's
coercing.
Okay.
There's the word, coercing. That's part of trafficking.
Yeah, she was definitely like, she knew what she was doing, you know, and whatever motive they had behind it, it was just bad. And I ended up not having any clothes on except for a thong at 15 years old, sitting on a rock.
Do you know that is child pornography?
Yeah.
Sitting on a rock, and you're just all of a sudden, you've got a thong on, and they're taking
so
pictures
uncomfortable.
of you.
I was the most uncomfortable that I've ever been.
What did that do to your fear level or your heart? Like, how did that affect you?
You know, after realizing what had happened and how I was like with my body, I'm very self-conscious, and like I don't, you know, I'm not too confident in how I look and stuff like that, and I'm almost 100% positive that had a lot to do with it, because I was very uncomfortable. And I mean, I was like with my boyfriend, you know, at the time, but these people made me feel like I had to do something, and I knew that I didn't want to.
Yeah, you felt forced.
You know, it was absolutely.
And what do you know now that that he was going to do with those pictures. And I don't know if we don't know if he'd done anything, but his purpose was to
put it on that website.
Put it on the website and let
traffic
people,
me.
traffic you. And then he said, let's go out of town.
Yeah.
And he gave you a coat, a nice coat, by the way.
Yeah, and flowers.
And just showering you with gifts. And so that was that grooming stage of him getting you to trust him. And so...
Oh, it's crazy.
You were like this close to being totally trapped.
Oh, so close.
I just can't believe that. I'm so glad you weren't attracted to him, because yes,
so am I.
You would have stepped all the way deep inside of that.
Oh, it would have been
situation.
Yep.
And this guy, 19 years old, doesn't matter. I mean, he was old enough, over 18, to be a child pornographer. Like, that is exactly what was going down. And who knows?
Yeah.
Like, what was he doing with these young girls? Like, where did he take them? Did they go to a studio? I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm so thankful that you got away. And let's talk about how you cut him off.
Oh man.
You just told him, I'm not going to see you anymore.
No. Oh no. I was way too scared to say something like that, because I didn't know.
Because he would tell on you.
Well,
and your parents would be mortified.
That, and I didn't know what he was capable of doing. I didn't trust him at all. Like, I just didn't like him. And my friend had gone to party with him and some of his friends one night and called me the next morning, and she had no clue what happened. She woke up.
Whoa, he drugged
with
her.
no underwear on.
He drugged her and raped her. Oh, that's awful.
And she's 1 year younger than me.
14 years old.
Yeah. So after I had heard that, then I was like, oh, absolutely not. This is not happening. So he came to my house, and he knew that I didn't want to go. And he was trying to talk my mom into letting me come, because if my parents okay it, then I have to go.
Right? To go out of town.
Yep.
Take you across state lines.
Yeah.
Illegal.
And I ended up, thank God my dad worked down the street. I went into my parents' room, and I locked the bedroom door, and I called my dad, and I said, Daddy, get here now, because this guy is trying to talk Mama into letting me leave, and I don't want to go.
Stop right now. We're going to take a break, because I want to hear what happened.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Alison's powerful story of escaping a child sex trafficker. Can you guys believe it? Yes, a child sex trafficker. Alison, I wanted to ask you, what was the difference in your recovery now, and what has changed because you've came to the Destiny House that was never there before in your life?
Oh, I've been through multiple rehabs and prison and jail, and the one thing that's different this time is my relationship with God and Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
That is so amazing, because this is what I find within myself. This is what changed me. And 16 years of me going out of control. You and so many other girls I've met, every time that Jesus is brought into the picture of healing and of the trauma, everything changes.
It does.
And with God, all things are possible. Destiny House is a place where ladies can come again and dream new dreams, get rid of their nightmares, discover who they are in Jesus, develop into righteous women to go out into the world, into the destiny that God originally called them, which is a destiny of favor, prosperity, and blessings. They were never designed to be sold. They were never designed to be thieves. They were never designed to be con artists or sex trafficked, which, by the way, 95% of women that are abused, 95% in the sex industry, in trafficking, were sexually abused as children or molested. We cannot forget those stats, that these ladies, we need to embrace them, and we need to be part of the solution. Destiny House is this solution. Been doing this for almost 15 years, and can I tell you the miracles that I have seen happen in our program and with our outreach. You guys, if you want to partner with us, we need partners. We need monthly partners. Go to hookersforjesus.net, just like Fishnet, because Hookers for Jesus means I will teach you how to fish for people that are drowning in the heavy, stormy, dark waters of sex trafficking. Don't you want to be part of the solution? Join us. Welcome back to Pink Chair. I have Alison here, and we're on like the height of the story. It's like the grippy moment, the popcorn in the audience. We want to know what happened.
Yeah.
He came to get you at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad did what?
So my dad came home, and he ended up leaving before my dad got there because he knew that my dad was coming. My dad just worked right down the street from our house. So, but then I was still nervous. Like, I didn't know if he was going to keep trying to come back or what he was going to do, because he knew that I was rejecting him, and I was very uncomfortable with him. So I was, as I said, I thought that I was a grown 15-year-old, you know, and I wanted money to go buy weed and go shopping and do what I wanted to do. And I ended up stealing my parents' ATM card and taking money out of the ATM and going and doing that. Well, my parents had called the police, and I blamed it all on this guy. I said that this guy made me do it because I didn't like him, and I didn't know how else to get rid of this guy. You know, I was like, I know exactly what to do. He won't be able to come bother me ever again.
That's good. I mean, you were like using your brain, even though it was backwards. It might be like a Rahab lie or something, but you just were like, I gotta get rid of this guy. I know it's funny. Your parents love you, but
oh man,
you guys have made up, obviously. But
so he had told me his real name, and well, I didn't think it was a fake name. I didn't know anything was wrong with him, you know. So the police came and they asked me what happened, and I told them that this guy made me take the money out, and they asked me his name, and they looked it up, and it came up that he was wanted in 2 other states for child molestation.
So
and
he
was 35 years old.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah, 35.
35 years old.
35. 20 years older than me. 35 years old.
That is just, you know what, I'm going to pray for that guy's soul.
Yeah.
That is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
That is, so how much did this affect your next life? Because you grew up, and I met you at CCDC, and I know we don't have a lot of time. What happened to get you there?
So I started using drugs, some pretty heavy drugs, meth, and prescription drugs like Xanax and stuff.
You had trauma, Alison.
Yes.
I really believe you had trauma from that incident with that.
Oh, it affected me in the sense of I could have gone out and I could have worked on the streets, you know, and sex trafficking and all that stuff, but I went the opposite way. Without even realizing why I was going that way. But if guys would hit on me, I would be like, oh, you think this is funny? Like, you want to hit on me? What do you think I am? Like some, bad word, you know? Yeah. And so I would be like, oh, okay. And they would go to the bathroom, and I would literally take all of their stuff and their car keys, and I would leave.
You were angry.
Yeah, I was very angry. So I treated men very, very differently, and I was very serious about my relationships that I was in. And like, don't think that you can just come up to me and just talk to me and act like I'll do whatever for whatever, because I'm not gonna. And if you even think that I'm going to, I'm gonna take all your stuff, and you better not do it to another girl. And that's how I was. And I ended up starting to steal cars, and oh man, I got in so deep.
And by the time I met you, you were in jail for stealing a car.
Yes, I had already been to prison twice. This was my last.
It's like you spiraled. It sounds like your trauma and everything you've been through, the anger and what had happened to you, made you totally rebel. And see, if women don't get treated, young girls don't get treated for their trauma, this is what can happen.
Yeah, and you don't even realize.
Right, and you didn't even know that you were...
No clue.
You were being trafficked, but just not paid cash, and they were getting ready to sell you and groomed. And so that does affect your whole soul and your heart. And you know, I really believe that God watched over you, Alison. I really do.
Oh, he did.
And so you came into the Destiny House, and I've just seen you blossom. I mean, I am just so proud of you. You have just turned into this strong, beautiful, blooming flower. It's just, and you're so full of love and patience, and you love people. Like there's girls in the house that sometimes try patience, and you're just like, oh, you know, we have to be really kind. We have to understand. I mean, you're just so loving and understanding. And I really believe that God has, you know, taken what originally he intended for you and he's made it come full circle. Because you've always had that in you, because he created you.
Yes. And I truly believe that also. And I can feel the difference. I don't see or feel like how people are like, oh my gosh, I just see this whole difference. But once I think about it, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, I'm actually like, I'm finally doing it. And it's because I've surrendered.
Yes.
And I'm willing. And this is truly what I want. You know, nothing could change me until I wanted it. And until I was willing and surrendered to God. Because once I did, I realized this is so much easier this way than it was the other way.
And you're
you know?
so healthy now, like your body's healthy. But I'm so excited for you to share about what you're doing now. Because what are you doing right now?
I'm going to school now for dental assisting, which is something that I've been wanting to do since I was...
You have beautiful teeth.
Oh, man. Well,
since when did you want to do that? To be
Since
a dental
18, around 18.
Are you? So this is one of your desires of your heart that God's fulfilled for you.
And the enemy was trying to make me believe that I was not worthy. I was completely never going to be able to do that, ever. And God showed me the exact opposite from my obedience and my willingness. And
you are worthy.
I am.
What if there was a girl out there right now, okay, and she was a 14 or 15-year-old, and maybe this same guy came up to her, or maybe a guy that she is good looking, that she likes and has a crush on. What would you say to her? What would you say to her? Let's pretend, what if you talk to Alison at 15 and you look in that camera and you tell her, what would you warn her about, and what would you tell her about God?
Oh, you know, we really need to cherish being children and just having fun and growing up. We do not need to be adults right away. I really regret not being a real teenager and going to prom and all of the normal high school stuff. I didn't even go to high school because I was trying to be a grown-up. God is always there with you no matter what. Even if you feel like you're alone, nobody's sitting with you. God is right there all of the time. He is always working. If you just close your eyes and just breathe and just know that he's there with you.
And he loves you so
He
much.
does, and that's the only reason that oh my gosh, it's just crazy.
What a testimony you are. Thanks for coming on today.
Yes,
Alison.
thank you for having me. I love you.
Thanks for joining us today, Pink Chair. Can't wait for the next show, you guys. We love you.